Well, today we have a great topic, actually, and you know how much we love federal employees. And so this one is going to be directed primarily at you. And it's something that's come up lately in the news. You've probably heard about it, read about it, seen it, and that is DOGE. And we're going to be talking about how DOGE may affect you. Is that correct?
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes.
CD Financial, where health meets wealth.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CD Financial Podcast, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. I'm Marcus C. That man across from me is Chuck D. Chuck, how are you?
Killing it, baby, killing it.
Excellent. I love it. Well, today we have a great topic, actually, and you know how much we love federal employees. And so this one is going to be directed primarily at you. And it's something that's come up lately in the news. You've probably heard about it, read about it, seen it, and that is DOGE. And we're going to be talking about how DOGE may affect you. Is that correct?
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes. Yeah.
Elon Musk and Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
How about that?
Those one of those names you probably already know. The other one I think we're all going to be learning about more in the upcoming months. So,
there you go.
Interesting stuff. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different as far as the format goes. We're going to be watching some of the comments that have been made by Elon Musk and Ramaswamy and discuss how that may affect you as a federal employee and maybe some of the steps that you need to take now. But I think one of the biggest messages we need to start out with, probably just mentioning it off the bat and we'll go back into it throughout, right, is don't stress out.
Yeah. Let's see what they have had. Let's see what they've said, and we can work from there. So as always, you know, the news is always wanting to sell the negative.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and listen to what's being said, and then we can manage it from that point. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So we're going to start out watching a little bit of a clip or small clip from the Joe Rogan podcast where he had Elon Musk on as a guest, and listen to what Elon Musk says about DOGE in this opening clip, and then we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Here we go.
Yeah. What this whole idea of this government efficiency agency.
The government, yeah. I mean, call it whatever you want. But
what do you want to call it? What do you call it?
I mean, I think the funniest name is DOGE, the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah, I mean, the idea is pretty simple. Is that like we've got this suffocating, massive federal bureaucracy, and we need to, and the government spending is like bankrupting the country. Our interest payments on the national debt now exceed the Defense Department budget. So, which is the Defense Department budget is like $1 trillion a year. The interest payments on the national debt are now higher than the Defense Department budget, and growing like every month. So it's not like basically we're on a path to bankruptcy. America's on a path to bankruptcy. So we have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a postman would if that overspends. And then
Okay.
Let's unpack in that short clip. Where do you want to start?
Well, I've been saying in the training that I do for federal agencies internally that for years, actually, we've been spending more than we take in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 2024 numbers, we've taken in $4.9 trillion, mostly from Department of Treasury, IRS, but we've spent $6.75 trillion. So it's $1.85 trillion, almost $2 trillion, going backwards.
Right.
And that's been the trend, and that is a bankruptcy kind of trend, a trend towards failure.
Operating in the red, as we say. Yeah.
Now, as for his comments about the government being glutted, I don't know, right? Now, he did mention something interesting. I don't know if you heard it or not.
What was that?
He said that the interest we're paying on the debt that they take on to pay these bills because the revenue's not enough is the same and is going to overtake the budget that we have for Department of Defense.
Yeah.
So that is a concern,
especially
because I work with so many DOD bases and such. So right, that's kind of a red flag. It's like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right, that's a lot of interest, isn't it?
Yep. It sure is, and that's not even. I mean, and we're talking to all federal employees here. You highlighted one because he mentioned it, but I mean, ultimately, is a trickle down to all the federal, and we'll get into that a little bit more here in just a second. But
all right, so the concern is, let's become fiscally sound.
Right.
Okay, I don't remember when the last time they had a balanced budget. Was it during the Clinton administration? I can't remember.
Might have been. It seems like the government's been operating in the red for a while now.
Yeah. Okay.
Like.
So let's go to the next spot.
Okay.
Look, we got to do this because the country's going bankrupt. Like, if we don't take action, we're dollars are going to be worth nothing, and the interest payments, which are already 23% of 23% of all government income, income taxes, tariffs, and everything, is just going to pay interest right now. And that number is continually rising. So if we don't do something, the entire government budget will be paying interest.
Okay.
Wow.
We heard it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I thought I saw figures that were lower than that, but still, if the government budget was 13% on interest, that's still a massive part of the government budget. We could save 13% if we could get us, what was the expression used? Balanced budget. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah.
It's interesting because it strikes me right off bad credit card debt, right? Like they actually had to tell people you got to do more than just the minimum payment because essentially all you're doing is paying interest and it's a vicious cycle you never get out of.
And I give advice about TSP loans all the time to get rid of bad debt like credit card debt.
Yeah.
So if I'm giving that advice, maybe the government should be paying attention to it as well.
Maybe they should hire you to talk to them about.
I don't know about that. But sometimes it is that simple, right?
It seems like it. Yeah.
There's the established agencies, right, that do things. Mm-hmm. Let's continue to listen to. Now this is Ramaswamy. Yeah. He's supposed to be running this DOGE with.
He's going to be along with Elon Musk running this.
Okay,
DOGE.
So let's see what he has to say.
Okay.
He's on the Tucker Carlson show here.
Carlson, very good.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's listen to a clip from him for about half a minute.
Okay.
And hear what he has to say.
Perfect.
Okay. Try not to take too much offense to what Ramaswamy says. And let's just hear what he has to say.
We're not making political commentary. He just happens to be on a political show. But
if we boil down Elon's words, basically there's too much spending and there could be some cuts to make it, to get it in line and get rid of the interest.
Yeah.
So now let's hear what Ramaswamy has to say.
Complain about. You actually brought up a really interesting dimension of this. If you literally just mandated that they have to actually show up to work Monday through Friday, I know, radical idea.
They don't go to work.
Actually, a good number of them would quit that way. Right. That step alone. So you don't even have to talk about, you want a mass firing, a mass exodus. Just tell them they have to come back 5 days a week from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. Like many Americans, most Americans who work hard to earn a living in this country, just show up physically to work. You'd actually have about a 25% thinning out of the federal bureaucracy right there. So that's an easy first step.
It kind of sounded like he was saying that federal employees don't always show up to work.
It sounds that way. I don't think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that wasn't his intention, but
I'll say that too. Just to everybody, just relax.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take offense. The taking of offense rests in the bosom of fools.
Yeah.
The book of Ecclesiastes says so. Yeah, just relax there. But he was saying, basically, Ramaswamy was saying, let's make everybody go back to in office.
In office, yeah. Go back to work.
Go back to work in office, yeah. So they want to kill teleworking.
Right.
Yeah, is what the expression is federally. They want to kill teleworking. And that will eliminate some of the issues because some federal employees will just say, I'm done. I'm not going to go back to work in office. Now, just so you know, Marcus, I've talked to scores, hundreds of federal employees post-COVID who have extended their career just because they can telework.
Yeah.
They were going to retire beforehand, but now they say, you know what? It's gotten pretty easy.
Right.
I think there's somebody from a Air Force Base, and he told me that. I work with him and their client family, and he said, Charles, it's just gotten easy and I'll do it. And he's just, by the way, recently retired.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a natural evolution that a lot of federal employees have already voiced to me.
Right.
They said, if they make us go back to work, or if they make me go back to work in person,
won't do it.
I'm done. Right. I think, there's a lot of employees, Department of Treasury, they're I think it's a mandated 1 day a week that they go in person. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Right? All is not lost.
Right.
You can say anything you want, right? You can't deal with tomorrow, but we can start to try to plan for tomorrow. But let's hear some other words that might sound a little more reasonable, okay?
Yeah.
From our pal Elon. Okay, how's that sound?
Sure.
Let's go
back.
there.
So back to the Rogan show, back to Elon Musk on the Rogan show, and we're going to hear what he has to say is possibly a solution. And I appreciate what you just said, because you don't obviously represent or talk to every single federal employee in this country. Nobody does. But at least the ones that you talk to, that thin slice, it reflects an idea that many of them are already kind of looking on a bright side, if you will. Like,
there's a lot of teleworkers that they say, look, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. If it goes there, then and then others will say, look, if it goes there, I'll deal with it then.
Right.
Right. So let's hear a bright side here from Elon and see what he has to say. Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
To be able to look at it logically and objectively.
Yeah.
And you were also floating around the idea of offering a large severance to the people that you're going to have removed.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, these are, again, just ideas, but I mean, it's the point is not that people suffer economic hardship. The point is just that there are more productive things they can do in the economy. And it would be better if they did these other more productive things. And we didn't have this vast federal bureaucracy. So I was like, maybe like a couple of years of pay would be good. And then they could take a vacation. They could take another job and get double pay. I mean, it's not going to create an economic crisis. I think it's actually going to be really good. I think.
Okay, so there is some insinuation that some of these jobs are not needed.
Right.
Right. So I'm not commenting on that.
Right.
Okay.
Because we have to remove, he says, he uses the expression more productive things. I think it implies something that he wasn't intending, which is to say that they're not productive now. I don't know that was what he meant per se.
Right.
But, I think the main thrust of this message is about what you're about to get into, right?
It's that he's saying, look, maybe we'll bring a severance package in.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't work the numbers up yet. I don't get the impression they did.
No.
And so let's see what they bring to the table. But if you are already intending to retire in the next couple years and you get a severance package for 12 to 18, 16 months of pay, then it might work out to your benefit.
Yeah.
And you might be semi-gleeful that this is happening because you're already planning on retiring.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we've touched on the topic of a part-time job, on another episode. I think
you can click on the link to that part-time job right here. Does it help for you to get a part-time job? Should you get a part-time job? Just click right there and you'll connect to it.
Yeah. And looking on the bright side, if you were to get a severance package, it may give you time to develop a hobby into a part-time job, or a passion into a part-time job, or even an extended career in doing something else, to where, like he said, you're getting paid already. If you could layer something else on top of that, there might be a real upside there. And that's kind of where we started talking about don't stress. Don't stress doesn't mean don't have a plan. It means look for that opportunity out of this.
Right. And special provisions, law enforcement, they talked about, there might be redundancy in the law enforcement. Mm-hmm. They haven't said anything about firefighters and air traffic controllers. No. But even in the law enforcement, again, the reminder is 25 years at any age.
Yeah.
You can retire on a full pension. 50 and 20 years, and then automatically you're forced out at 57 anyway for law enforcement. But getting back to that idea, that would be really helpful if there was a severance package, because they could also be talking to those employees that are a little bit younger.
Right.
Right? They're not eligible to retire.
Right.
And so in that case, that's where it talks to maybe you move on to another position,
right?
Private sector employment.
Right.
Yes.
And again, I don't like the use of the word more productive, because I don't know if it implies something different. But if you're 30s, 40s, and you're looking at this and thinking, man, maybe I may be affected by this, take that severance package if it's offered and roll that into something different. It may mean going back to school, learning a different skill, right? It may mean pursuing a passion, developing that into a career. It may mean taking a vacation, a much needed vacation like he referenced. But the point is there's a lot of options there. Now, if you're 57, 59, you're getting to that retirement age anyway, it just may mean, hey, I'm starting my retirement a couple of years early.
Yeah. And, he may not know what these expressions are like. A voluntary separation, right? A VSIP.
Yeah.
And what's the other one called? Employee incentive. I'm forgetting the V acronyms now.
They'll run together after a while.
I've heard them before, but they exist. Where they can open the door and say, look, we'll allow you to get your pension with no penalty early. Yeah. And so typically what that looks like is the same package that is offered to law enforcement. It's 1520 or it's 1520. Okay. Actually, that's what it is. 1520. Yeah. So you'll see that appear. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say what I've been saying on my YouTube, the 3 minutes on Tuesday, but we post those pretty frequently, is on that YouTube CD Financial channel to the shorts, not the podcast here. Right at the end, I always say, you don't have to work longer. You just need a better plan.
Yep.
So instead of worrying about this and stressing about it,
right,
let's go ahead and devise a plan.
Yeah.
That's why we're available. That's why if you just pick up the phone and call 949-359-5100, 359-5100, call in, leave a message if it's after hours, and we'll schedule you. Jude typically runs the calendar, but you'll get 15 minutes where you can express yourself. And we're just all ears. We want to hear what you have to say, where you're trying to go, and what your situation is.
Right.
So don't sweat this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come up with a plan. You may find out that we can hand you the permission slip to retire. And you might be able to start your pension way earlier than you ever thought you could.
Right.
And who knows, maybe there'll be a severance package in your future too.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty tasty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's the upside. And I think that's the beauty of this discussion of paying attention to these things, because initially we hear this and it sounds really bad, or it may sound bad to us.
Right.
But then you can kind of poke around in there and there might be some real upside to what's happening if we plan for it. Again, don't stress, don't panic doesn't mean don't plan, obviously. It means plan better. And if you plan better, you can take all these changes in stride and you'll be ready for whatever comes.
Look, you've heard the expression, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think back to my career 14 and a half years ago. Something happened. It seemed bad. But what it did was it forced me to create what I knew I wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
My own investment advisory firm and a fiduciary. And I wasn't handcuffed to financial instruments that were trying to be promoted and shoved down our throat.
Right.
And I hated that. I was like, this is wrong. The business model was wrong. And so what seemed to be horrific and dramatic ended up being a massive blessing.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much. So I would suggest staying away from the drama.
Yep.
Unplugging from all this crazy frenzy.
Yeah.
And just plodding forward and coming up with a plan. So we don't want you to be reactionary.
Exactly.
We want you to be planned.
Yeah.
It's like what we say about tax planning. We don't want you to be dodging bullets. We want you to be bulletproof.
Right.
So by coming up with a plan and talking to us, we can help you to be
bulletproof.
And
right? That's what we
Not
want.
be dodging bullets, because you could get grazed. You could get hit square on.
Yep.
And that's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn to be bulletproof. I like that. That's
go.
a good way to put a bow on that discussion. Very good. So health tip. We're ready to get into health tip for today?
Yeah, the health tip is don't stress,
I like it.
right? Tomorrow's another day.
Yep.
Plan for the future, but don't stress about something that hasn't even happened yet.
Yep.
Yeah. Come up with a plan, and then you can be strategic about it and deal with today. Bring your A game, lean into the changes that are coming, because that's how life is.
Right.
Nothing stays static.
Right.
The only thing you can count on is change and time ticking away and whirling, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And half and if we're honest, I said half, probably way more than half of the things we stress about is stuff that never even happens.
Doesn't even come to fruition.
Yeah. But we're all freaked out about so many things that just never, ever happen. So why stress about it?
Yeah.
Plan to the best you can. Be prepared. Be mentally prepared, physically prepared, and you'll be able to take what
Be
comes in.
proactive.
Yes.
Pick up the phone, give us a call. You can
Click the link. Yeah.
You can click the link. You get an access to our calendar too. Did my voice crack again?
It might. We need to get you some clear cell, buddy. I think you're hitting that puberty.
Give us a call.
Yes.
949-359-5100
Yes.
or click the link and
Excellent.
you'll get the calendar right there. Yeah. And be smart about this stuff.
I love
Yeah.
it. I
Okay.
love it. Well, thank you very much, Chuck. As always, we appreciate it. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We love having you here with us. Chuck just mentioned about the phone number and clicking the link. Also, subscribe and click the link for these videos. We want to have this information to you. We try to keep everything timely so that you don't stress. We want you facing the future with confidence. And I will just reiterate what Chuck just said. Be bulletproof. We don't want you dodging bullets. Be bulletproof. That's what we want for you. So thanks again for being with us here on CD Financial Podcast, where health meets wealth. I'm Marcus C. That man is Chuck D. Chuck, thanks for your time and your words of wisdom. We really appreciate it.
You better believe it. We're here for you. CD Financial, where health meets wealth.